I go to the market, I go to the square, I buzz your apartment, you're never there. Don't know why you can't see all this burden you put on me. I've given you flowers, I've ordered you wine, I took you many places, all of them so very, very fine. It just pains me to see all this burden you put on me. This town came to save us, lied to and cheat us, broke down and stunned by the spell that we're under. Can't help but notice your story seems bogus. Looks like you've already decided. To the movies, it seems so unfair. While you've long forgotten, I'm neither here nor I'm there. Makes me weak at the knees. For this burden you put on me. The sound came to save us, lied to and cheat us, broke down and stunned by the spell that we're under. Can't help but notice your story seems bogus. Looks like you've already decided. To the market, I go to the square, I buzz your apartment, baby, you're never, ever, ever there. Baby, you must know this burden on me. Why can't you see? You put this burden on me. Why can't you see? You put this burden on me.
And we're live. Hey, YouTube. They can see us, they can hear us. Y'all are beautiful out there. We're going to have a fun episode, so stick around. It's going to be fantastic. And without any further ado, let's go ahead with this episode. Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Julian, and this is WSTR, Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 226. We hope you and yours are well, and with everything crazy going on, we want to continue to be a platform that promotes positivity, life, and hope, and a little Star Wars along the way. Why not? Today, we are talking a little Star Wars and a little music with musician Kris Rodgers. Welcome to the show, Kris.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Go ahead and grab a drink at the cantina, get comfy, because we're going to introduce everybody else here. Miss Heather Allred, thanks for joining us.
Fun fact, it's Heather's 4-year anniversary with the podcast.
Hey! 4 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's 4 years made brighter by your presence, so thank you for bringing yourself to the table.
Stop.
What a smooth operator over here. Jeez, Louise.
Moving swiftly on, we've got Mr. Todd Hoffman.
I was trying to take a drink of water, and you got me.
I knew it. I tried to get you.
That's right. Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, without any further ado, Heather, go ahead and tease that news, please.
Absolutely. We've got one news item for you, but I guarantee you it's going to hold a lot of weight.
Oof.
Oh, boy.
That's not the name on my name tag.
Oh,
okay.
no. What could that be about?
Whatever could we be talking about?
I guess we'll find out when we get to the news. But first, we got to get through our main topic.
All right, Kris. Well, the seat is hot. The couch is hot. I don't know where you're sitting, but it's going to be hot. So
Boiling.
The couch, for sure.
Yeah, right. So we, we're a Star Wars podcast. So we always have to start with this question with all our favorite guests. How did you get into Star Wars?
The way that I got into Star Wars was, this is kind of a weird, maybe it's a weird way to get into it, but when the remasters came out in 1997, I was like 11 or 12 years old. and I saw the previews on TV, just like just like you saw them in the 70s, and became just like infatuated with it, you know. And I went to my dad took me to opening night when they were remastered at the theater, and we like waited in line and all that kind of stuff. And I saw all three of the movies in that summer, you know, whatever. It was like, they were like a month apart. They came out
Yes,
or whatever.
Yeah.
But my dad took me to see them on each of the opening nights and everything. So it's a little weird because the remasters were like the first time I saw them. So I don't have any of that like nostalgia kind of like, you know, weird scenes, CGI scenes and all that kind of stuff. I don't like really mind them all that much because for me it was like a new thing.
Yes.
But like I do feel really lucky at the same time that I was still so young, and my first experience for Star Wars wasn't on television. And it was, you know, the first time I saw A New Hope was just in the theater. I'd never seen anything from it before that, you know. And all the movies were like that. So it was such a magical thing for me, really. And ever since then, they've just been my favorite movies ever since then.
Awesome. That's great. It's not a weird way. That's fine. Everyone has, you know, a way to get in. So that was your way in, man. So that's awesome. What makes you connect to Star Wars? Why do you connect to Star Wars? What's something that connects you to that?
You know, I think, you know, especially for me, because probably like you guys, I'm like a original trilogy guy. I like all of the trilogies, but really when it comes down to like my like bread and butter trilogy, it's the original trilogy. And a lot of like Luke's struggle, I really like Luke's journey and what Luke goes through. And I think that you know, at least for me, being like a young man and stuff, seeing Star Wars, you know, everybody sees a little bit of Luke in themselves, and you know, all that kind of stuff. Like I think I'm a hero all the time, even though I'm not. You know, I'm like always willing to save the day, or try to save the day, or whatever. But you know, I just the thing about Luke too for me was that he was so, especially in the first movie, he was such a normal guy. Like he was this like little like almost like a teenage kid. He wanted to go off to the Imperial Academy and all this kind of stuff. And just the way that his journey kind of took a sudden turn. Because even for me, I didn't think about like what the Academy was for him. And it's really the Imperial side, you know, like he was going to be with the bad guys, essentially. So the fact that he kind of like went the other way and became this you know, icon for the rebellion and really stood for everything that the rebellion stood for. I think that for me is a lot of what the original trilogy drew me to.
Yeah.
And the other trilogies I like a lot too. It's just that first one is the one I really connect with.
That's awesome. Very cool. Okay, so what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is A New Hope. And
okay.
I watch it like multiple times a year. It's the only one that I watch multiple. I watch like all of them at least once a year, but it's the only one I watch multiple times a year. And I think too, for me, it's because if you had to do it, it's its own movie.
Right.
It could be completely, you know, if you just had A New Hope and that'd be it. I do think, objectionably speaking, probably Empire Strikes Back is the best film.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's the right answer.
but like my favorite one is just the original Star Wars. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
Now,
that's fair.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. It's fair. So you kind of mentioned Luke as like your favorite character, but is there like a scene or something that resonates with you the most that you just like, yeah, I can watch that on repeat?
I think it's, you know, I think that it's a lot of like, and I said that A New Hope's my favorite movie, but a lot of these scenes are like from Return of the Jedi, when like Luke is, because like as a kid, you're all the time, and maybe even more so in a rock band, I don't know, but you're kind of like put against these like odds and stuff, and sometimes you're like tempted to do maybe the wrong thing or the bad thing or something that maybe you shouldn't be doing. And Luke is always in that situation as well, and he somehow always just says no to it. And like he like is tempted to join the dark side, and he doesn't do it, and he's just rising above it at all times, and like having that sort of like a role model growing up, or like trying to I'm not like comparing myself to Luke Skywalker ever, but but all in a way kind of just being like, like having that sort of like core set of values, and being like, there's this guy that he always did the right, except for in the sequels, really. He always like, he always like showed up and stuff, and
he still showed up in the sequels. He showed up.
He did,
in the
yeah.
sequel.
No, you're right. He absolutely.
Yeah,
did.
after he said, "Get off my lawn," he
No, yeah, he did, yeah, for sure. I always like admire that kind of aspect of Luke, where he just doesn't really. I mean, even in Empire Strikes Back, Yoda is like telling him not to go. And don't go save your friends. It's gonna be, it's gonna turn out badly. And he still goes anyway. Just because he feels like in his because he knows in his heart that's what it's like it's the way that he's gonna sleep at night. He's got to go try.
Right, exactly. All right, so how'd you get into music? Like, how did that journey start for you?
When I was a kid, I used to be really little kid. I had a daycare I used to go to, and they had a toy piano at the daycare. And eventually, I just kind of started picking songs out.
So it's kind of like Muppet Babies, basically.
Basically, yeah. Well, yeah. Right, yeah. I mean, I was picking out Disney songs too, for sure. Like this little, like, I think Aladdin was one of the songs. But then when I was 7 years old, I got diagnosed with diabetes, and that was exactly the same time that I started asking for piano lessons. And my parents, I think, felt bad about diabetes, so they just said yes.
7 years old.
To
Wow.
the lessons. Yeah, to the lessons.
Right.
And I still have diabetes, and I still play the piano. So we're
wow. Yeah.
Still going strong. Yeah. But that's how it started. And a lot, for me, it was a lot of just like kind of learning stuff by ear, and listening to the radio and figuring stuff out and all that kind of stuff. But then eventually I, joined a rock band and started learning songs off the radio. And, now I play music full time and all that stuff. But like one of my bands even does May the 4th parties and stuff, and we played all the Star Wars songs. And
nerd, that's amazing.
We dressed up. My Jedi name's Luke Diabetes, actually. Yeah,
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So I have to ask then, since you started doing piano lessons at 7, with then the re-releases and then just the journey that is Star Wars, how did your reaction to the score change as you progressed in your music journey? Or was it always like, this is amazing? Or did you come to an appreciation for it?
It was definitely always that this was amazing, but at the same time, I now understand why it's amazing, and I teach piano lessons too, and I've taught almost all the major Star Wars songs to kids. And there's a few of them that are a little bit under the radar. Brilliant. Yoda's theme is incredible.
Yeah.
Leia's theme is also incredible. And of course, the Imperial March, or like Vader's theme, is amazing, and Luke's theme is as well. Like I like to play Luke's theme actually all the time. I like kind of tag it on songs a lot. But it's just the thing about John Williams, he's got like this Mozart quality to him, where his melodies are a lot of the time very simple, but they're perfect.
Catchy. Yeah, they're catchy.
They're catchy, and they use these in music. Like sometimes we call them money notes, Like there's just like these magical little intervals and stuff, and he somehow he finds those every single time.
Right, like every single song. How do you do that?
Yeah, and it's not even.
code.
I mean, he does it in like Harry Potter and Jurassic Park. He does it in everything he does.
Mhm.
But Star Wars. I mean, Yoda's theme is a really really good example of that, where he plays. It's probably, I don't know if it's really how easy it is to explain, but he plays outside of the key, and but you never hear it as it's outside of the key. It sounds very natural and like it's normal, but it's really the thing that brings Yoda to be like this kind of like omnipresent sort of like, you know, master Jedi guy.
Right.
And it's this one note that he raises it. It's a sharp note as in the scale that he's playing in that is not normally there. Yeah, he's a genius. He's a genius.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Yeah. Well, considering it's just like, it's not just Star Wars, right? Like you just mentioned, it's like, okay, it's Harry Potter, you know, they only had a couple movies, you know, and it's Jurassic World. They only had a couple movies, you know, it's like, he finds a way to make it, you know, its own thing. And like Star Wars, it's magic sauce. Like you could turn off the you know, the words, and the music still resonates, and you can find out what's going on just based on the music, you know. And you know, obviously Star Wars is very visual too, so you know, you get the visual cues, the music cues, and you know, it's money in the bank, you know. So
yeah, even, you know, I play a lot of Battlefront 2, the video game, the Star Wars video game, and a ton of the music is in that game as well. And like the Bespin or Lando's theme is like such a great piece of music. And we use all the music because they never tell us what map we're going to be on. So but they play the music for the map while you're waiting.
You're like,
if you know, you know.
Yeah. Oh, this is Jabba's palace. You hear that? This is Jabba's palace.
Perfect.
Right. Oh, that's funny. It's like, I'm hearing a tuba. That's Jabba's palace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They'll change it up too if you're like winning or losing.
Yeah,
it's all triumphant if you just took a command post, and then it starts to get desperate if you're running out of time.
So you're doing the Muppet Babies thing. You're doing the piano. And so how do you use the Star Wars influence when you're like when you're designing, you know, songs or lyrics? Is that, you know, in the back of your brain, like, what would John Williams do? You know, like what?
I mean, a little bit. We do have a horn section and stuff. And I have a big part in the horn section, but I'm not the primary horn arranger. And the person who does most of the horn stuff in our band, Jamie, is a trombone player, and she's big on John Williams and all that stuff. So we kind of nerd out quite a bit, talking about like how things you know, relate in that way to like things like Star Wars or something else that John Williams did. But a lot of the things, though, to be honest, that I take from Star Wars, I do it like in a kind of subtle way, but we do a lot of video stuff where I throw Star Wars references. Like I have this hat I have in a video that we have coming up, and I have a Jedi hat too that I like switch halfway through the video. And
just to represent.
Yeah. Well, because there was a part of it where I was kind of like a bad guy. So during the bad guy part, I have the Imperial hat on, and I like switch to go back to the Jedi symbol. But and then we have like another video coming out where we have like a space battle, I guess you could say. And I have a lightsaber, and so I'm like fighting this guy on this planet with the lightsaber. So it's like
sounds pretty Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a real lightsaber, but it's a replica lightsaber anyways. And I felt, I don't know if you've ever seen Arrested Development, but I felt a lot like George Michael in the garage with with his home video camera when he's got his lightsaber and he's like faking it out in the garage. That's kind of what I look like in the video. But with the green screen, it looks really awesome. You know, fighting a legit space monster or whatever. But but
all in a day's work. All in a day's work.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but that's for me. That's how like I always try to like just throw it in. If I can't like actually reference by name in a lyric or something like that, which is very hard to do. Like something with Star Wars, we just it's always somehow like sneaks into certain videos. So that's like 2 different videos that we have coming out that each have these little Star Warsy things in them.
Yeah, nice.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love the video pitch. Hey, I want to have a lightsaber and battle some kind of space monster. Let's make it work.
Exactly.
I've seen weirder videos. Let's be honest.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Something like that is easy to say yes to.
Yes, exactly. So, tell us a little bit about your band, Kris Rodgers and the Dirty Gems. What kind of music are you doing? What's going on there?
We are, we're kind of like based in 70s, like rock and roll pop, or not pop, or pop, I guess. Yeah, but it's more like soul rock and roll from the 70s. We have a couple horns, a trombone, and a saxophone in the band. We have 3 female backup singers. And then we have like the core kind of like typical rock band, drums, bass, guitar. I play the piano and organ and different things like keyboards and stuff like that and sing. I think, as far as I'm concerned, we're like a really fun, energetic rock band that's like a great party band. You're going to have a great time if you hear us, you won't leave. That's like a big thing I'm proud of. You probably won't leave, at least if you're there. But we like, the thing that at least the thing that I like to portray while we're playing stuff is just having a good time and having fun and letting loose, kind of forgetting about stuff. And like a few of our videos have a whole bunch of dance numbers and stuff, and like none of us are dance people. Like we shouldn't be dancing. Nobody wants to see us dance. But we kind of like have this like we don't care attitude about it, because that helps everybody else not care about it. So I'm like, for example, if you saw me dance, you'd feel fine dancing. You'd be ready to cut loose. You'd have no problem. If he can do it, you can do it.
Right.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
So what other influences do you think feed into your band besides John Williams and Star Wars?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I'm a big Elton John fan. Because I play the piano. He kind of I gravitated towards him at an early age. I'm a kind of a redneck too, like he is at heart. I know Elton has a lot of flamboyant, awesome stuff that's very kind of glammy. But before that, he was not a country guy, but kind of a redneck country guy. And I'm from Maine. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. Relate to that really well. So, I live in a city now, but I'm, grew up just in the country. Yeah. So I've always gravitated towards that. I like Leon Russell a lot too. But we, for us, like a huge influence is like the Beatles. I'm sure everybody, any band you've ever heard.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, for sure. And I like Billy Joel too, and Leon Russell is an amazing kind of influence on us. But it's a huge smorgasbord sort of stuff, because the guys in my band and myself are all full-time musicians that play like we play like 4 or 5 nights a week with cover bands, and I've done like dueling piano bars and all sorts of things like that. So the influences can kind of come from all sorts of places that you would never think of. Like I just, some stuff I'm even ashamed to talk about, to be honest. But,
it's okay.
We won't tell anyone.
We won't tell anybody. We won't tell anybody.
Yeah. But geez, what do we play here? Like this past weekend was one of the first weekends I actually memorized the lyrics after reading them on an iPad for like 2 years to the Pina Colada song. The so you know,
It's
I don't know if that necessarily made it into the record as influence wise, but like that's kind of some of the stuff we're dealing with sometimes. But it's cool. I think, you know, one thing that's really great about that is that we can all reference things from the past in different ways. You know, like if we're writing a song, we can say, oh yeah, but this would be cool if we had like a guitar part like this David Bowie song from this record at this time. And we all kind of know what we're talking about without having to go look it up and do all this stuff. So like, but for the a lot of the record that we're doing now, it was a lot of like Motown stuff and early soul stuff. Even some more like, you know, not Bruce Springsteen per se, really, but like his ilk and his kind of crowd in New Jersey, like Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes are a good example of that. And of course, Little Steven, who runs our record label, he's a huge influence on. He does some huge stuff with horn parts and stuff that really is another big influence on us. So it kind of comes from all over the place, but it really stems from all of us playing in so many bands all the time, and just kind of I guess really it's like having a good vocabulary between four of us or five of us. We don't one of us, none of us by ourselves have a good vocabulary, but
or dance moves, right?
Right. With the help of the group, we can get by. Yeah.
So, is there a good origin story about the name? Where did the name come from?
I think, to be honest, it's not a great story about it.
Well, you can make something up. That's fine.
We just were, I think that we were, actually one of the other artists that's on Wicked Cool, the label that I'm on, his name's Kurt Baker. Him and I are both from Portland, Maine. He lives across the world now, but we're both from here. And one day we were just sitting around and we just came up with it. And it might have been like we were looking at other records or something like that and saw the name Gem or Dirty or something like that, and thought it'd be cool. But names are one of those things where if you try too hard, it never works out. Right. You know, it's got to be like, you know, I've tried coming up with a lot of names and they're always terrible. And the ones that I'm like, I think that one works, you know, no, I think that's good. And then we let it sit for a couple weeks and just, no.
It's like that one friend who like tries to make a nickname stick, and it's obviously one he came up with. And it's like, it's never going to happen. Nicknames given to you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. And that's exactly what it feels like naming your own band too. It's like, I don't, you know, especially when you put your own name in front of it. That's like a really weird thing too. But the Dirty Gems, it started out as like a 60s pop rock throwback kind of band, and that's why the Dirty Gems was like a cool name. It was a piano trio band. And we've just kept it going ever since then. And we're kind of like a polished band that's really rough around the edges. So Dirty Gems is a nice little representation of that.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
There you go.
So tell us about this new album that's coming out.
Yeah, so this new record, it's called Still Dirty. Speaking of Dirty Gems.
Right.
And it's on Wicked Cool Records, which is based out of New York City and is run by Little Steven Van Zandt from the E Street Band and Sopranos and all that good stuff, Lilyhammer and stuff. And it's got, you know, I'm trying not to kind of hype it up too much, but I honestly think that it has something for everybody on it. We've got some soul songs that are really upbeat, and like I Can Still Feel It, which has been released already, and Don't Turn Around, which is kind of like a Motown number. And then we've also got we have a kind of like an ode to Spain, which is one of my favorite countries in the world, called Tortuga, which is Spanish for turtle.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but it's a really great as far as it's a Latin cool little swanky song about a turtle that escapes a train station in Madrid, which is a real problem in Madrid. They had an infestation of turtles in one of the train stations.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said too. We had written the song actually before I knew that, and then
Are you serious?
yeah, and then I changed a bunch of words after that, a bunch of lyrics.
Oh.
Yeah. But it just was like, wow, no way, real okay.
It is also
So, yeah.
educational.
Oh, right.
Yeah, exactly. You learn something, and they have taken care of it. The turtles are okay. Everything's cool.
Good.
It was
Good. We're glad.
It was
We're glad for that.
10 years ago or so, something like that. But yeah, we have there's the kind of like a Van Halen really rock and roll, super kind of heavy rock and roll guitars song. We've got some kind of Queen-esque ballads on the record too. I just think that we've got something that everybody can enjoy something on the record, and it's got a good bunch of flavors. It's kind of like like a good meal. You have like different spices and stuff like that. There's not like too much salt or pepper or like oregano, right? It's
Right.
just the right little amount here and there.
Gotcha. So, music industry has changed. So you're saying record. So tell me like in this digital age, what have you adjusted to, and what do you do now when you release an album? Like, what's going on here?
Everything's backwards now.
Right.
That's for sure. Yeah. I started playing piano with punk rock bands a little over 10 years ago, which is a weird thing to do for a piano player because there's not really any piano players in punk rock bands. But something that I learned from those guys was that they always had vinyl. The punk rock bands never stopped doing vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it was way expensive and they sold them for really cheap and never really made any money off of them, they still always had vinyl. And I started collecting vinyl myself just because of that. And then it seems like the whole rest of the world kind of caught on to that. And now the way, like, we release CDs, but nobody buys them. I'm just kind of swimming in CDs. And
okay.
the thing that people buy is vinyl. And then they will order CDs online, I guess, but I never sell them at shows.
Right.
But it's streaming. And then if you really like it, they buy it on vinyl. And those are like the two things. And to be honest, I've like fallen into that habit myself.
Yeah.
Like I'll stream something, and then if I really love it, I'll just order it on the record or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just a really weird thing that vinyl has kind of outsold. I think this year might have been the first year that it outsold every other medium of music since like 1986 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which is really crazy, but it's a really good thing because vinyl sounds so good, especially the older records. It's a little bit different for newer bands because if you're recording digitally, it's not like as big of a awesome leap to the vinyl, to the analog spectrum,
right,
already there.
Yeah.
But if you put like a Van Halen record on, or like a Foreigner record on, or anything from any like rock and roll band or any band really from like prior to like we said, like 86, 9, whatever it is, even like mid 90s, the sound quality is huge. It's awesome compared to any MP3 or anything like that you can hear. Like I routinely will play things through my stereo on my phone and then play the record, the same exact thing, the record just on the turntable instead, to see what the difference is. And it's huge. The difference is massive. And I have, it's just something about it's real sound being moved. It's like pushing the air like a real speaker does. It's like a guitar amp, like a fake guitar amp compared to a real guitar amp.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a really good thing that vinyl is kind of coming back. I didn't expect it to happen by any means, but I'm in for it. I'm down.
Yeah. Nor did you expect the Turtles. So I mean,
I did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Aaron, you're our resident sound expert. What is it? Just the compression thing, or what makes vinyl pop?
Well, when you're playing a digital file, you're basically telling the computer to like reconstruct an analog sound wave. And it does a pretty good job, but it's not perfect. Whereas if you have a vinyl record, you're having a needle follow these grooves that are cut into wax essentially, um, and it's a completely smooth movement that's 100% accurate to the original recorded material.
Mm.
And so it's a subtle difference, but that recreation between uh, a 100% accurate analog recording versus a like 98, 97% accurate digital reconstruction, it makes a big difference. And
Mm.
it also makes a difference like what turntable you have and what needle you have and what amplifier and speakers you have. Like that all makes a big difference. But if you can, if it's like an unbroken chain of analog recording and then playback, um, Daft Punk did this with Random Access Memories, where the whole production, it was a mixture of digital and analog, but from basically the beginning and end stages were all analog. And if you listen to the vinyl, it sounds amazing. It sounds like they're right in the room, because
Right.
you have that kind of faithful reproduction of the audio there.
Nice.
Yeah, I have to second that about being right in the room. That's a feeling that I get too when I listen to especially older like 70s vinyl that was cut on analog gear. It does feel like you're actually surrounded by the band, and you can actually pinpoint in the room where the different people are.
Exactly. And yeah, and maybe I'm a weirdo, but I don't often have. Well, that's a given. But
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to
I was gonna
music,
say.
I don't have
Right, right.
I don't have music just like in the background when I'm doing something. Um, Maybe some like ambient or atmospheric stuff, but when I'm listening to music, it's always like it's like an activity that I'm doing where I have to like pay attention to it, and I'm like, I'm going to listen to this album now. And
Yeah.
so that's a perfect match with something like vinyl, where you're not just picking and choosing from a bunch of singles. You're not having Spotify curate whatever you listen to. You're
Right.
experiencing it in this one complete package, and you have to take the time, set it down, set the needle,
Right.
and you're listening
And you
to
have an
the whole
awesome thing to
side.
look at too.
You do, because it's like
Yeah.
this nice, big, expressive album art, and it's not this tiny thing on a screen. Um, and don't get me wrong, I listen to music digitally all the time. It's not like one's better than the other, but they're different. And
Yeah.
when you choose one, you lose some attributes of the other, and you gain in other areas. So it's a trade-off, but everybody should experience both of them, I would say.
Soon we'll get that portable LP thing going. You know, it's gonna happen. You know.
I'll catch on any day.
Right.
I think Elvis had a record player in his car. I think you can
Yeah.
rig it up somehow. I don't
Yeah.
know. He
Right,
needs like
right.
good shocks. I think you need really good shocks or something like that.
More importantly, for at least the way that I see it, is buying records is a fantastic way to support bands that you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're just streaming off of Spotify, even if you're listening to them hundreds of times a month, they're maybe getting a few pennies from that.
Yeah.
And like
Right, yeah.
even big popular bands are getting next to nothing from just streaming revenue. So buying merchandise of any kind is a fantastic way to support your musicians.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 100% true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
tangent, but you got me monologuing.
I needed to get your analog versus digital here, man. You know.
Yeah.
So are you going to go out on tour? Is that a thing happening now that things are starting to open up? A little bit?
Yeah, we're scheduling I guess you can call it touring stuff. It's more like 4 or 5 day weekends really for us.
Yeah.
Because like Mondays and Tuesdays are still kind of weird as far as shows going on. But yeah, we're gonna be in the Northeast this fall for sure. We'll be going down to probably the most south we'll probably go is like Philadelphia and New Jersey. And we're from Portland, Maine. But we'll go to Boston and New York City and probably upstate New York and Connecticut. And it's possible that we go down to like DC and Baltimore as well. But we'll see. We're just kind of like waiting to see how things go.
Yeah.
with all that. And then we're trying to we have big plans, to be honest, like every band out there, I'm sure right now, it's been around for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Big plans.
Yeah, huge plans. But we're trying to go to California. We've toured in Spain before, so we're trying to go back there again too. That's like really, it's a really good time for rock and roll bands in Spain. So we're trying to do that. But for sure, absolutely, without a doubt, the Northeast this fall is definitely happening.
Yeah. So you know, everyone got hit by COVID and pandemic, right? So how did you you know, where did you find hope in these difficult times? Like where was that for you when you?
Well, you know, we had to cancel our tour. We had a tour that was going to be going on for the last like 2 or 3 weeks in March in 2020, and I think the like 4 or 5 days before our tour was starting, the big kind of like shutdown happened.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it was all canceled, and that on it, you know, for a rock band like us, we actually lose a lot of money when we go on tour. So we stayed home and saved it. But the other thing for me is that I play something like 150 to 200 gigs every year, and I have gotten to the point where I was kind of burnt out and not, you know, I was still having a good time playing and all that kind of stuff, but jaded is definitely a word that like comes to mind when I was showing up to gigs and doing stuff. You know, I've played Piano Man like 10,000 times, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And heard it and stuff. And for the first like 3 weeks, 4 weeks of the lockdown, I didn't touch my piano or my keyboard. I didn't do anything. I played Battlefront 2 probably more than anything else. I'm playing that tonight after I get off of this. I have a like we do it like every night.
Right.
But that's probably what I did more than anything else. But it was such a good thing just to breathe a little bit and not have to do anything. And I know that's how the entire band felt. Like we're all in that situation. Like I accompany a whole bunch of singers as well, playing piano, and I have a couple cover bands that I make money with and make a living with, and then plus this band that you know, we record and release all this stuff and tour and do all that kind of stuff. So a break was actually a really great thing for us. And I know it wasn't a great thing for a lot of people, but somehow for us we really kind of needed it. And then after like a month, it got old, like pretty, pretty fast. But we took the time, and this is kind of how it is with being a musician. Like you do something so long that you get bored of it, and kind of annoyed with it, and then all of a sudden you have this new thing that you have to figure out how to do. And whether it's like figuring out how to record yourself or how to make a music video on your own, or just little things like that, or make a poster, or make the artwork for your record, or you got to become a Photoshop expert like overnight. So we really dove into the video aspect of everything, and Ryan Halberton, who plays bass in the band, and his studio is kind of where we record everything and do a lot of stuff. He got really into doing videos, and we just started kind of like storyboarding stuff and planning videos for all these songs and shooting the videos and getting a green screen and doing all that kind of stuff. And that's where, like today, I was shooting a video before I came here for one of the songs, and we have the lightsaber fight video that we were talking about before, which was a few months ago, and that was like so fun.
Obviously,
I had to be alone in the room doing it because I would laugh if anybody saw me doing what I was doing. You know?
Yeah.
But
quiet on the set, please.
yeah. Like, whatever you do, don't look at me while we're doing this. You know. But that was kind of, you know, as far as creativity goes, that was a big aspect of just getting by. And I've been writing, you know, the Gems and I write songs, and we've been doing some stuff, but I've also been writing songs with Michael DeBar, who is like another guy that's on our label, Wicked Cool Records, and he's you know, a big character actor and Hollywood, and has done some spots on a whole bunch of TV shows and stuff over the years, and he's been on like MacGyver and all sorts of stuff. Really great guy. But him and I have been writing a bunch of songs together too, and he lives out in California, and so doing that whole like thing over the internet has been a really fun experience, and it's kind of weird to do that, to just be kind of writing songs through email and telephone, and phone conversations or whatever. Right. But it's been such a great, it's the next best thing to be in the room together for sure.
Yeah.
We haven't Zoomed once, which somehow I don't know. We talked about it one time.
You dodged it.
So, yeah.
Have you heard of this Zoom thing? We can do that. Let's just email.
But yeah, we've just kind of kept busy. I guess you can call it like filling the pipeline, just trying to keep stuff, keep it rolling or whatever. But yeah, the for me, the keeping hope through this whole thing has been really like just coming back to myself and slowing down and I know a lot of musicians have been saying a similar thing to that over the pandemic, just because where I live, we're like kind of a seasonal economy. So in the summertime in Maine, in Portland, there's a million places that I can play every day. and a lot of times we play twice a day. We play 6-7 days a week, and it's just kind of nonstop. And then in the wintertime, it's like twice a week, maybe, if that. But that had kind of stopped over the last few years, and we kept really busy through all of it. So like I said, the getting shut down and canceling a tour and canceling like 14 dates or whatever it was not the best. But after that, all kind of like after the dust settled and all that, it was almost like a vacation, to be honest. But, I had like a real summer last summer.
What's that?
Yeah. People asked me to go do something. Like my mom asked me to come up for dinner, and I could do it. It was crazy.
Let me check my calendar. Oh,
nothing.
Okay,
lots of nothing.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. All right. So give us all the plugs. Where are you at on the socials? Where can people find you and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, I'm all over social media. If you look up Kris Rodgers, it's Kris with a K too. That's a big deal. A whole bunch of different Chris's will pop up if you do it. Otherwise, all good guys, I'm sure. Not me,
but not you.
But yeah, I'm on Twitter, K Rodgers Music on Twitter. If you look up Kris Rodgers on Instagram, K Rodgers Music on Facebook, and the big one that will get you all of the things is KrisRodgersMusic.com or KrisRodgers.com. All those will all kind of they'll all go to the same place, really.
Gotcha.
And if you want to check out the label, and our stuff's on the label's website, but there's all a bunch of great artists that the label has on there. WickedCoolRecords.com will work too.
Gotcha.
Very cool.
Awesome. Well, do you want to stick around, Kris? Can you?
I'll hang, man, for sure.
All right. Cool.
Awesome. All right, stick around as we go ahead and pay some bills, because as we all know, it ain't easy living with the price on your head.
See, Kris, aren't you glad you're sticking around now? See?
You can find us on the socials. Heather at Hawk Awesome, Carla at Carla Marie Giac, Todd at Tizod. I think that's 5 Z's, 4 Z's.
Four Z's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Myself,
I'm sure, like Kris said, maybe the guy with the 5th C's, sure he's a very nice guy, but it ain't me.
Yep. He's got like 5 million followers out of the confusion.
Right. Thanks,
and myself at Aaron Julian. And we're part of the Red 5 Network. That's at Red 5 Network. And then our show's ID tag is at WSTR Media. You can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. We want to hear from you, so please call in, leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on an upcoming episode of the podcast. Sorry, we do not accept snail mail. If that's how you want to get in touch with us,
we accept vinyl? We accept vinyl?
Maybe. I'll take some. But that's it.
Dude, no, I heard real quick. I heard this Kickstarter where I was on my Instagram feed. That's how it works, and it was like a bunch of podcasts, and they were doing it. They were going to put it on vinyl. I was like, that's pretty cool.
How do you put it? How short is their podcast that they can fit on vinyl?
I don't know, but I thought that was a cool idea. Like, here's our podcast on vinyl. You know,
Huh?
I don't know.
You got like 20-ish minutes per side.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Pretty much.
for our podcast, you need like, oh goodness, like 6 discs, something like that.
Here's this box set for one podcast.
Yeah.
You know, like
Here's this week's episode. Man, that's expensive. Anyway,
yeah. Anyway, sorry.
we're brought to you
Tangents.
by audibletrial.com/WSTR, otherwise known as Audible. It's Amazon's premier audiobook streaming service. And hey, we've all been there. We've fallen down a well. We couldn't get out. And what are you going to do to pass the time until you get rescued by a lassie?
Right.
Throw on an audiobook. Head on over
Right.
to audibletrial.com/WSTR. You get a free 30-day trial. You get to pick any book you want for free. Keep it forever. No questions asked. You also get 2 free Audible originals. Those are audiobook content that you can't get anywhere else. And that's also free to keep forever. And if you decide to game the system and just cancel it and never pay for another month again, that's amazing because you get to keep everything that you picked out. And no questions asked. We still get a kickback. Everybody wins. Jeff Bezos loses. So please go ahead and do that. audibletrial.com/WSTR and support your favorite podcast today. We are also brought to you by our merch store, store.wstrmedia.com. Once you get pulled out of that well, oh no, all your clothes are wet. You're going to have to replace them. Well, we got your hookup. Store.wstrmedia.com. That will send you to our good friends over at Teespring, where you can cover yourself head to toe in nice, dry, laundered WSTR merchandise. That's store.wstrmedia.com. Go check them out. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/WSTRmedia, where you can enjoy exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. Just ask our patrons who are enjoying this very thing right now. Jeremy Myers, Scarif Scuttlebutt, Elena Strikes, Nicholas Schaefer, and Rural Farm Boy. Thank you so much for supporting the show month after month. You guys are fantastic. And go on over there and see what the party's all about. Patreon.com/WSTRmedia. Okay, bills are paid.
Oh.
We got some news to discuss with News of the
Let's do
Week.
it.
Okay. Everyone remain calm.
Oh,
Aaron
boy.
Julian. Screenrant.com is our web address here for our news item. And the headline goes, Disney is moving away from using Slave One name for Boba Fett's ship.
Oh, no.
According to the name on the new Star Wars Lego set, Disney is again moving away from the Slave One name on the starship that, has been around for decades.
Mm-hmm. Ever since Empire.
So Disney is distancing itself from Boba Fett's ship Slave One. It's a long-standing fan favorite from the, franchise, with its debut in 1978 of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yes.
So Fett has evolved as Star Wars has expanded across subsequent movies and TV shows. Despite significant developments for the vigilante, one iconic element has endured, and that is his heavily modified Fire Spray 31 class patrol and attack craft. Formerly his father, Django, its name hinted at the dark past of the Fett family and their targets. So, of course, of the myriad of ways that Star Wars series have been made into merchandise over the years, one of the most successful has been the Lego line.
Mm-hmm.
So,
True.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So Fett's craft made its first appearance in 2000 receiving numerous progressively more advanced iterations throughout the years.
Right.
Right. So this is not new, people. But Jedi News and interviewer James Burns, has revealed that Disney, who took over stewardship of Star Wars in 2015, is rescinding Slave One's famous name. And this is what the designers of the Star Wars Lego people, I won't say their names, but it's in the article. Let's just save face. Let's try to
very Swedish names.
Very Swedish names. So basically,
sorry, Danish. Legos
Danish.
are
They're Danish. Yeah.
Very Danish names.
Forgive us. Yes, I built another. We're not calling it Slave One anymore. This is Boba Fett's starship. To then the question being asked, okay, why are we dropping the Slave One name? For the response to be, everybody is. It's probably not something which has been announced publicly, but it's just something that Disney doesn't want us to use anymore. Okay. Obviously, we have new fans through the Mandalorian show who might not actually know Slave One is the name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's not like this ship hasn't been around since, 78. So as opposed to my continually reading this article to you,
yeah,
I ask you, podcast.
Yes.
Do you have any feelings about this?
Oh boy, do I. We weren't supposed to have any news items today, but
right now, Aaron's
this
like,
came
"Hey,
up.
I gotta get up early. Cut the show." I was like, "All right, well, I
Then
don't do
this
any
came
news
up.
items." He's like, "Wait a minute, we got to talk about this boba stuff, man."
Yeah. To be charitable, I could see where they're coming from, but they're like,
Yep.
you know what? Slavery is a bad thing. Maybe let's not talk about it anymore. Let's not plaster it on the front of merchandise. And I get that. However, I struggle to think like who they think they're protecting. Is a little kid gonna like read this and suddenly have some very dark thoughts? I'm not sure, because Boba Fett's a villain. Like, you realize that, right? And this is also a franchise that's full of torture, choking, killing younglings.
What?
Yeah,
but I mean, but all right, but to level it, I mean, again, Lego, they do sometimes have generic names, it's not
this is true.
Right. I mean, General Grievous, you're like, oh, okay, General Grievous Starfighter. Yep, that checks. They're not going to name it the Soulless One, which is what technically the canon name is. It's just like something that we know. If you're uber nerd and you're like checking out the cross-section book or the art of book or the whatever kind of book, and you get like, oh, do you see all the cool names? And like Heather said, Boba Fett ships the fire spray modified class thing, patrol craft. It looks like a lamp. It's okay. It's cool.
Sure.
But it also, the opposite side is you're not going to get a Lego set that says Han and Chewie's big ship. It's like, that's the Millennium Falcon,
Right.
So it's,
And to your point, they don't call the Bad Batch ship the Havoc Marauder. They call it the Bad Batch ship.
Yes. That's
because
right.
kids are still learning to read.
Yes. So are adults.
I just scratch my head a bit when it's not Lego deciding to do this on their own. It's Disney asking Lego. And I doubt Disney's motives when it comes to this, because I doubt they have the best treatment of Black people in mind. And if you doubt this, go ahead on your phone right now, everybody listening. Look up the Chinese poster for The Force Awakens, where they have a very nice black man right front and center on the poster. Way in the back. In the back. Zoom in. You might miss him. Yeah, I ugh. It just stinks more of Disney's passive progressive nature, where they're making moves as if they care, but they don't really. And
Yeah, I mean,
so,
this is similar to also with like Leia when, again, she was a slave to Jabba. She was
mhm,
known as Slave Leia. That's where, it came to be on the action figures. It was Slave Leia, that kind of thing. And then they changed it to Hut Slayer, which is also cool. I like that,
mhm,
again, when you see most of the time when you see the outfit, you're like, oh, that's Slave Leia. You're not saying, oh, that's Hut Slayer Leia. It's a thing. I definitely want to make sure that it is, we are progressive, but like you said, Aaron, it's not, sometimes it's not in the best interest of everybody, but
maybe be progressive in the way that's actually substantive and honors the
yeah, like
dignity
show
of
Finn
people.
being a Jedi on screen would have been nice,
Yeah,
but whatever.
and instead of making these kind of token gestures, um,
Star Wars, but Star
that's
Wars is really weird. Yeah, but Star Wars is really weird, right? I mean, we know
mhm,
we talked about this before. There's things said on screen that you never see, like a Bothan. You've never seen a Bothan,
mhm,
right? Ewok has never been said in a Star Wars film, but we all know it's an Ewok,
yeah,
and this kind of goes with the same thing. It's Slave One has never been said on screen, but we know it's a Slave One because that's when Kenner came out in 1980. It said Slave One.
mhm,
It wasn't Boba Fett Starship. It was the Slave One. You're like, this is amazing. This is like the coolest thing.
yeah,
I mean, those are things where again, from a marketing perspective, all those names, Walrus Man, Hammerhead, they're you know, could be insensitive nowadays, I guess, whatever. But I mean, those were things that we grew up with. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
and to be
Chris, do you have
clear,
any?
one
Yeah,
one
I
last
was
thing.
gonna.
To be clear,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get all misty eyed if they never call it the Slave One again. Like, I don't really care all that much. I'm not going to make angry clickbait YouTube
Hey,
videos about it. Um,
I
but
I
it's
it
the
goes
reason
back.
why, and the company behind it, and their I see through the lies of Disney is what I'm trying to say. That's all.
Right, lies, deception.
Yeah.
Um, it's just like here in Chicago. I will never ever call Sears Tower Willis Tower or whatever tower they put. It is Sears Tower. Yes, I know Sears is a bankrupt company and they'll never be there again. I don't care. It's Sears Tower. That's what it is.
Are you
I
saying you're
don't,
not going to be
like,
excited about when they about the proposed Lakeshore Jean Baptiste Pointe du Sable Drive instead of Lakeshore Drive?
no. It's in fact, it's LSD, man. I don't care what you're tripping on. It's LSD.
Yeah.
These are things like, again, I still call Comiskey Park, even though now it's like guaranteed rate field of whatever. I don't, yeah, it's
Gross.
like, yeah, slap that sponsorship on it. I know that's what you get, whatever. But these are things that like it's a staple thing and it's a street name. So we'll call it Slave One on the street. You can put it on the package, Boba Fett's, whatever. Who cares?
So yeah,
Chris,
so
do you have any?
I was gonna say, Chris, why
Yeah.
did you have an opinion before these two guys keep going?
Yeah, I
We kind of ambushed you. We're
I
sorry.
tend to just I go the same way that you guys are going. Like Aaron, I kind of latch on to what you were saying. I totally see why they would do it, and I
Yep.
appreciate why they would do it. But I also just don't necessarily think their actual intentions are what they're claiming that they are, or maybe even like it's like a fad, not a fad, but more of like a marketing tool to just to prove that they're kind of, on that side, on the right side of things, which they should be. But it just seems all, disingenuous, I guess, considering who Disney is and all that kind of stuff.
Couldn't say it better.
Yep.
Well,
Hey, yeah, we
those are
have
my thoughts.
Danny. Yeah, we have Danny in the chat. Danny White, what up, Danny? The moves are what is mainstream right now. They're reading the room to continue making money.
Yes.
Yes.
It is corporate passive progressive slop instead of actual substantive social justice. And that
Yeah.
grinds my gears a little
Yeah.
bit, Todd.
Yes. Heather, do you have opinions? Our Pollyanna, our bright light.
The Hufflepuff in the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Give me a Hufflepuff. Give me a Hufflepuff.
yeah. I mean, I think, gosh, it's just so hard because I agree with everything that everyone has said. I don't know. And this is, again, you can write me letters. The address, we'll give you the address later. But I don't see what's wrong with the ship called Slave One. I don't think it was ever created with that name for the purpose of why they're trying to take it away. It is a fictional story about a large teddy bear who flies with a hoodlum. I mean, come on. You've got little teddy bears killing people. You've got you mass produce weapons. I mean, give any kid a wrapping paper tube. We all know what it is. It's a lightsaber.
It's a lightsaber. Yes,
I mean, you don't have to name it any. So, but again, that's the point. You don't need to name it for us to know what it is.
Yeah.
I hope, I want the Pollyanna to say, I hope this is Disney making a first step towards actually proving us wrong. But they have to understand it is more than just unfortunately, a money-making merchandise endeavor. They're going to have to make major changes to casting and correction of what they produce in the film industry or TV industry. Because once you break trust or once you don't have it, it takes so much more to get it back. So I guess I just hope that this is one small step for Disney, one large step for Disney fans. Other way around. How does that work?
Sure.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's the hope. That's the Pollyanna in me. But
that's just like, that's just
we'll
like, I mean, if we start going down this path, I mean, this is like, okay, we're not going to call them stormtroopers because they got that name from the Nazis, and now it's going to be, plastic white spaceman or whatever. It's like,
yes,
there's.
But we're also a group of people who basically have like torn people down and like scared them off of social media because
Luke drank some green milk from some walrus
or something, or Jar Jar was super annoying, so let's attack the man that was hired to play him, or Kelly Marie Tran. Come on, let's bring it down a notch.
We are a strange group, that is for sure.
Everyone needs to chill, just like for a sec. Can we all do that?
For like a second.
Please.
Yeah, just
thank you.
Everybody just take a nap.
just take a nap.
Amen.
All right, get us out of here, Aaron. Get us out of here.
All right, time for Cantina Chat.
There we go.
Okay, the time of the episode where we talk about everything geeky and weird going on with our lives. Speaking of which, Todd, what's up in your neck of the woods?
Talk about geeky and weird, man. I haven't seen Fast and Furious since 2 or whatever, but at IMAX they were playing an exclusive clip of the new Jurassic World, and I got to go see me some dinosaurs. So I took Trent and we went to see Fast and Furious 9 on IMAX for this Jurassic World clip, and it was worth the price of admission. It looked so beautiful.
Ooh.
And there's no the clip. I'm not going to give it away, but essentially there was like barely any people. It was all dinosaurs, and it looked amazing on screen. And I was like, I cannot wait for this film. I cannot wait for this film. It looked beautiful in IMAX, and they did shoot a lot of it in IMAX. So, it was a good deal. Fast and Furious 9. Yeah, it's more ridiculous than Star Wars. It's crazy, but it was fine. It was okay. But yeah, so it did that. It's just, Patrick got me a little hook, so I'm building a backpack for my stormtrooper, so I could be a different stormtrooper. So I'm going for a heavy weapons trooper that was originally seen in Battlefront 2. Not this EA Battlefront 2 stuff. Chris.
Pandemic Studios.
The original, the Pandemic Studios Battlefront 2 heavy trooper. So, so I'm building that right now. So hopefully making some progress on that. So I've been painting all week, and it's been fun. So that's me.
Very cool.
Fantastic.
Chris, how about you? Besides buying a cool hat,
Yeah, right. Yeah. Honestly, I've been playing the EA Battlefront 2 a lot.
Okay, not here to judge.
That being said, though, their Clone Wars and Stormtroopers are not accurate. So I know exactly what you're talking about. That they're just kind of there, different paint and outfit skins and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know where they got some of them.
Just mix and match.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually do that a lot. I have a couple buddies, we all play and we do the showdown and stuff, and we're pretty
cool
competitive with it and stuff. And
nice.
Like a few hours every night and stuff. My
Nice.
guys are Vader, Kylo, and Dooku for the bad guys, and Obi-Wan, Rey, and
Gotta add
Anakin,
one more.
Sorry,
Anakin.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, 3 rounds, Anakin.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're pretty big into it though. We play quite a bit, all these heroes, villains, and stuff. So
Nice.
it's pretty gnarly. But I have played the original Battlefront 2, and that game is incredible. It was incredible.
It was incredible. Yeah.
Killer. It's the original.
Nice. That's awesome. So it's the one thing that EA has done with Battlefront 2 though, is they really have extended the life of that game, which is pretty impressive for a game that's been out for quite some time now. I think that is ingenious of just design, and it is fun. They made it fun, which is good. So
and it is like when the game, I've had it since about when I bought a PlayStation just to play this game.
Right.
I'm not a video game guy really, but I've had it for like 4 years now. And when the game first came out, it had a lot of backlash, and it should have probably got the backlash that it got. It was a pretty horrendous game.
Well, there's those microtransactions.
Yeah. They seem like macro transactions.
Yeah.
Well, the whole problem with it is like you got Uncle Bob coming to the forefront and saying, get this out of here because I got all these people complaining they can't play Darth Vader, and it's
that was it. Yeah, it took like 40 hours to get Darth Vader. To buy Darth Vader.
Ridiculous.
But they really
what kind of game is this?
Yeah, switching it up, and when they revamped it and added all the Clone Wars stuff, now it's a really kind of an awesome game now. Aside from the skins thing, which is a little bit annoying with the Clone Troopers because there's so many Clone Trooper skins. And really, none of them are accurate.
They might have been seen in one single frame. You never know.
Just pick the what was it, 41st division, the Wolfpack, and be done with it.
Yeah.
Half of it's like Clone Wars content anyway, so
yes. Some of it is legit. Again, it's like, but they never, besides out a couple of them, they've never named them again. It's like Who's a toe under 12th? I don't know, but they're green and I like them. So that's
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's awesome.
Totally. I am happy though too that you don't have like Dooku in like tie-dye pajamas or something like that as like a skin, At least his pajama outfit is like the one he wore in the movie.
It's it's legit. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to battle Dooku in some jammies? I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, we call him the nightgown crew with him and the Emperor.
Nice.
They win every
That's
time
awesome.
though, so you got to give it up to the slumber party crew.
Heather?
Well, I completed a cross stitch
Ooh.
for those on
It's-
the
Yeah.
YouTube.
It's like an owl with a
Yeah.
fighter pilot cap on.
It's kind of amazing. I have this
love it.
collection of steampunk animals, and so they all have their fancy little headgear.
Yes.
Right on.
So working on that. That's
Yeah.
been some of my crafting nerdum at the moment.
My
I was
gosh.
hanging out with some 501st people and made a connection with someone I hadn't met before, who's hopefully going to help me get my Imperial uniform pattern so that I can do an Imperial officer.
What?
Ooh,
I know.
Moving on up.
Oh my gosh.
And then I have
You're just a babe 4 years ago, and now you're talking about Imperial officers, and these are things, man. These are
Yep.
things.
and I have a troop on Saturday, the Bartlett 4th of July parade, which apparently
Ooh.
is within the Midwest Garrison, known as like the Death March, because it's apparently supposed to be very hot and very long. So
Yeah.
Yes, I did that as well a couple years ago, and I almost fainted. It was a good time.
great. I'm excited. So yeah, so we'll get
I'm setting up real good for you, right?
yeah, it's good. So so Chris, I'm a Jawa with the 501st.
Oh wow, cool.
So
Yeah.
I'll be doing that on Saturday.
Wow, that's awesome.
Good
I will
luck.
stay super hydrated, I guess.
Yeah, no, just super hydrated. That's all you need. That's
I'll
all you need.
chug a
you'll be
Gatorade.
walking like in a cloak or whatever, or like a.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like monk's cloth. So
Ooh.
I basically am just full on robe. I've got
She's like a potato sack with eyes. It's
I
pretty cool.
basically
Mhm.
fully masked. It's a thing.
Yeah.
So, but at least it's sort of cotton. So there is some, and it's the dressy. So if I catch a wind underneath, I get a breeze.
Yeah, just
That's
tell
not like
yourself that on
plastic.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Just tell yourself that on Saturday. Be like,
But I'm a Rennie and I've done the Ren Fair. So I should be okay. It's just
Heather, can we
Yeah.
pivot for like a half a second? Did you watch Loki?
oh yeah.
How cool was it? How cool was it to see Wisconsin in Loki?
Okay, fun fact, friends.
Yeah.
That's not the Bristol Renaissance Fair in Wisconsin. It's the Georgia Renaissance Fair.
Interesting. I
Fakers.
didn't think
Nerd.
Unbelievable.
well, at least they got
unsubscribing
it in
from HBO Max.
Wisconsin. I know. Yeah. At least they got it in Wisconsin.
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
the Wisconsin Fair is actually in Kenosha, not in Oshkosh.
Details, Heather. At least they got the right state. Slave One, Boba Fett ship. It's
Whatever.
the same thing. Yeah. It's
Honestly,
Ren Fair.
once you drive up there and all the town names are just vowels, Oshkosh, Kenosha, Oconomowoc,
Yeah.
you just kind of give up.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I
but
just
and then I watched Loki.
I
That was my
freaked
other
out.
item.
I
Yeah.
freaked out for you. I was like, dude, here's some Ren Fair love in Wisconsin. I didn't know if it was Bristol or it's Oshkosh thing, whatever. I knew it landed in Wisconsin. I was like, it tracks, it's good. They were doing and technically they were doing time travel day, so I thought that was nice. Right? I mean,
That's funny.
so.
It's true. And I have
Nice.
feelings about Loki. I don't know how I feel about the female companion Loki
Okay, well-
person. So
Well, we'll be talking to that in a couple weeks. Don't you
I'm sure.
worry.
So well,
hold
cross
hold
that
your
bridge.
thoughts. Hold your thoughts. All right, Aaron. How about you? What you been getting out to, man?
Well, Todd, I finally did it. I clenched my teeth and I did it. I watched season 1 of Stranger Things. Stronger Thongs.
Well, yeah.
Years
Welcome
ago-
to America, my friend.
Yes. Years ago, I watched the first episode and I'm like, no thanks. But on the thanks to the constant goading of my roommate, he sat me down and we watched the whole first season, and it was pretty good. I liked it. It was a good,
Wow.
entertaining time.
Oh,
My-
so you changed your tune? It's good,
yeah,
man.
it's good. I wish the whole 80s thing still feels like a prop to me, where there's not enough of it, I feel, to that of all the 80s stuff that they throw in. There's not enough of that ties into the story for me to be like, oh, that's a story that couldn't take place in anything else but the 80s. Could be wrong about that, but that's how I felt about it anyway. Much to the chagrin of my roommate, I was not a fan of Winona Ryder's character. I know I'm in the minority here. I just felt like it was all one note. Like she's always the fraught, disturbed mother, even before Will goes missing. And there's never any range like there is with the other characters. Controversial opinion, I know, but I did like all the kids. I like the mystery and the shenanigans that
Yeah.
they got up to. There's tons of different visual references to movies of the 80s, which I adore. Like there's one where I think it was Winona Ryder and Will. This might have been in season 2. It's Winona Ryder and Will. They're like driving away, and there's a shot where they're like driving through like this mountain road, and I'm like, that's the Blade Runner shot. And it's
Yeah.
like straight up, and then they cut to like the close up of like Will, and then like his mother like behind him blurred out, and I'm like, that's a Blade Runner shot. So that's straight from Blade Runner. So lots of little moments like that I loved. But again, it wasn't like it didn't make the story better. It just like reminded me of things that I like. But yeah, not a waste of time at all. We're gonna be watching season 2, so looking forward to that. Also, my Star Wars D&D game is trucking along, doing lots of cool stuff. I'll spare you the details. What else did I watch?
I mean,
Bad Batch.
you're creating worlds. You're creating worlds in your head, man. It's
Yeah.
all good, dude. You know.
No big deal.
You just have to say you need to get excited about Steve in season 2 of Stranger Things.
Oh,
Yes.
He gets way cooler.
What cracks me up is that first season, I'm still trying to keep track of everybody. So I
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I called him Steve Harrington because he has a Harrington jacket on.
Yep.
Turns out that's the guy's name. So I'm like,
Who
okay.
knew?
Keep going. Keep going.
But yeah,
Who
apparently he gets a little redemption arc, so I'm told. So I'll be keeping an eye on
Yeah.
him. But yeah, that's
I just love that you're millennial and you stay out of the bubble, bro. I just love it. I just love.
I know. I'm a strange animal. But so be it. All right, that's
So be it.
That's my
Okay.
story, and I'm sticking to it.
Awesome.
And with that, we've got another episode of WSTR in the bag. So thank you, everybody,
Nice.
for listening to it. We've got a social media empire. I'm sure you've heard of it. It goes by the name of WSTR Media. So that is where we can be found everywhere. We want to hear from you. So please comment, tweet, rate us on Apple Podcast. If you give us a 5-star rating, we're going to take some swag and throw it directly in your face, give you a nosebleed like 11. It'll be fun. You could drop us an email at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. No snail mail is accepted, with the exception of
We'll
course,
take vinyl
records.
too. It has been proven we could take vinyl recordings. Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know.
Record your voicemail, cut it on some vinyl and send it to us.
Yeah, cut some wax.
We'll be very impressed and a little bit frightened.
Yeah.
You can catch our entire back catalog of episodes at podcast.wstrmedia.com. We got merch over at store.wstrmedia.com, and patreon.com/WSTRmedia is where we have exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. Go on over there and check it out. We're also part of the Red 5 Network, and it's a great family of Star Wars podcasts. Check them out at Red 5 Network and our website, www.red5network.com, for all the updates and shenanigans, including an in-person hangout in the Chicagoland area. That's right.
That's crazy. That's
July
crazy.
the 10 is when we're going to be hanging out at Alley Cat Comics over in Chicago for ScarifCon 2021. Join all the pods from the Red 5 Network family, as well as a friend of the show and actor Dominic Pace, featured in The Mandalorian. It's going to be a great time to geek out and honestly just kind of emotionally recover from the pandemic. So
it's more
head
of
on
like
over.
a therapy session.
It
It's
is.
like, it's like a group therapy session.
It is. Head on over. Give us a hug if you've got your shot. If you haven't, just keep your mask on. Wave from across the hall. No judgment. Kris, where can people find you? Thank you so much for coming along for the ride.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been awesome. I wish I could do this like every night, to be honest with you.
Oh.
Star Wars.
We're here every
You're so
Monday,
kind.
so jump on. Yeah, you could bring your boys with Battlefront 2. You can just listen to us as well.
Oh man, you guys don't want to hear that.
Too many cuss words.
But you can find me at KrisRodgersMusic.com or KrisRodgers.com, Chris with a K. And that'll get you all the stuff that you need to get if you're looking.
Fantastic. Well, next week, episode 227, we're going to be doing an Imperial inspection on Padme Amidala. So don't miss it. All right, team, there's only one way to end this. Now, this is podcasting.
Podcasting.
Bye-bye.